welcome to the Cube Talk Show. I'm your host, Joe Barbieri, and this show is about money, so we talk about all forms of money. Our guest today is named Daniel Kroll. He's from CB Metals, Canadian Bullion Services. He's the Chief Executive Officer. And so, Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking.
So, I'll just start off with a bit of background. So
Basically, I've been involved in trading physical precious metals for the last 14 years. And before that, I was a commodities broker and a stockbroker. So I've been involved with dealing with many different types of individuals, many different investment products over the years. But the last 14 years, I really have focused on the physical precious metals market. And boy, has it been an interesting 14 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking the last 2 months, but 14 years is true too. Yeah,
the last few months we've seen a few years of retracement in the last less than a month or so. But yeah, there certainly is a market. This is a market that you don't get bored being involved in. When I first started trading the gold and silver, gold was trading at $250 an ounce and silver at $4.50 an ounce.
Yeah.
And today we're looking around $1,500 and change for the gold, and about $24 an ounce for silver. And during the recent history, we've seen gold as high as $1,900 and silver as high as $50. So we obviously saw some huge moves up. We saw some moves down. There's been a lot of volatility, and it really is quite exciting. The money that's being made, the prospects of the future, and like I say, just the way that the world is changing. It really is, and it has been an interesting time.
So just to expand a bit more, so we're talking mainly about physical metals. I didn't say that at the beginning.
Yeah, that's what we really focus on. I mean, there's a number of different ways that you can participate in the precious metals market. One is to actually buy the physical product, the bars and the silver, the bars and the coins. That's what we do for our clients. Most of our clients are taking delivery of the physical. Some clients like to have it stored and they can buy and sell it with a phone call. The other way that you can, or there's a number of ways, but one way is you could buy something like an ETF, which is a piece of paper. It trades on a stock market. You can never get delivery of the actual metal when you're trading that. Another way is to buy a mining stock or be involved in the futures market, which is a highly leveraged market to be trading in. But I have focused on the physical the metal. When the market really goes to much higher levels, I believe the people that have the physical metal are going to do the best. I think that the whole area should do well. But if you have the actual physical metal, you're not relying on anybody to keep track of it or store it. And we've seen, especially in recent years, when you're trusting other organizations or individuals, sometimes things aren't as you would like, and you get situations. I guess one of the most glowing and public situations was the Bernie Madoff. I'm not saying that there's huge amounts of that type of thing going on, but it does go on. And one thing for sure is that a bar of gold and silver will never commit fraud, will never lie to you, it also will never be worthless. So there will always be value in physical bars of gold and silver.
So you would recommend physical above the others?
Yeah, I mean, basically diversification has always been the key for investing, to have a few different things working for you. So there's nothing the matter with having some ETFs, having even some for the really speculative area of your portfolio, owning some gold, some precious metal stock of mining companies even. But for what I consider the safe part of your portfolio, long-term, physical precious metals, I think is a very important component to have in your portfolio. almost any investment course that I've ever read or taken or been involved with always talks about diversifying and having anywhere from 10 to 30% of your net worth in precious metals. And a lot of people, especially Canadians, have fulfilled that portion of their portfolio, but with mining stocks, which is probably one of the riskiest things you can do with your money.
So if somebody wanted to buy a bar of gold now, from your company, how would they do it?
Basically, the best way is they could go onto our website. We're just putting up a whole variety of products on our website in the next couple of days that they can choose from. It will show the premiums. Everything is very upfront. We don't hide any costs. Basically, we put the price there, the spot price. There is a premium for the bar charge, and then because the precious metals trade in U.S. funds, if individuals are going to pay in Canadian, they can see the prices relying on corresponding to the current exchange rate, and basically they actually can enter a purchase right online if they like, or they can give us a call. And we encourage the people to give us a call because we really like to provide a lot of service, make things very clear for the individuals, and they can have it delivered right to their door. We normally are using one of the local courier services. As you don't have to worry that a Brinks truck is going to be pulling up to your house and your neighbors are going to be thinking, oh, what is this person got delivered to them. It just comes in a normal courier. And basically, like I say, you just choose the products that you want. They can be delivered to you, and same thing comes when it comes time to sell. You can give us a call. We'll buy it back from you. We can guarantee a price. We can protect the price. And everything is very clear. That's one of the things we really emphasize is customer service at Canadian Bullion Services. So that everything is clear. A lot of times people are nervous. They might not have ever bought precious metals before, other than maybe their wedding ring or jewelry. So we really like to help the clients through the whole process. It is a very simple process, but again, we're there to help them. Some people prefer to just go online and place the order through the online. So it's, in a nutshell, that's the way that it works, and it's a very simple process.
Yeah. So in terms of coins or bars, what's the pros and cons of?
Well, when you're getting, if you get a bar and it's a 100-ounce bar, say, of silver, and let's say that you wanted to sell half of it, it's very difficult. You have to sell the whole bar and then buy back another 50 ounces, so to speak. So that is one of the disadvantages to some of the larger bars. And bars for silver go as high as 1,000-ounce bars. So you could get small bars, and you also could get certain coins. And certain coins could become collectible or rare or desired. As a matter of fact, the Canadian Maple Leaf is one of the best known and accepted 1-ounce coins throughout the world. Canada's got a great reputation for our banking system. We're a mining country, and because the silver, the Maple Leaf coins are 4 nines, so it's 0.9999. It's very pure, and there's no taxes involved if you're taking it across borders. So it's got a very high reputation, a very good reputation, I should say, and it's very easily transported. Obviously, there is a premium that you're paying a little bit more for the coins because there's a cost in actually manufacturing it. So that's the disadvantage with certain coins, especially some rarer coins. You're going to be paying for a higher premium, and at the same time, the advantage to getting one of those coins is that when it comes time to sell, hopefully it's even more desirable and you're receiving back an even higher premium than you paid. And there's a whole industry of people that collect coins that are rare and they have different qualities associated with them, similar to the way that people trade sports cards, baseball cards and hockey cards and things like that. So we do have a variety of products. We've got close to 100 different products on our website that is available to our clients, but we don't get so much into they're all new from the mint. from the respective mints. But we don't get so much into rating each coin on the quality. It really is for the value of the underlying metal is what we're associating with, and the fact that it's guaranteed by the country of Canada. And now is not so much in effect that there are values assigned to the coins. So for instance, for the Maple Leaf silver 1 ounce coin, it has a value of $5 on it. So I doubt we're ever going to see in our lifetime silver trading below $5 an ounce like we saw 14 years ago. But if we do, that coin will never be worth, even if the value of silver is less than $5, the Bank of Canada will give you $5 for it. Just kind of another interesting aspect about it. And some of the coins are really beautiful to touch and hold. You look at some of the artwork. Sometimes people have, there's a number of different coins with different animals. There's some wildlife series that the Canadian Mint has released. And sometimes people have an affection for a certain animal or they want to have them all. So it's another way that you can sort of have fun with these products, make them desirable, something that you can, when you look at and show them to, I've got young children, show them to the kids. They seem to really enjoy when there's different animals and different things on them. But generally speaking, the main reason why I'm in this market is because I believe that the price of gold and silver is going to be a lot higher years down the road. And so far I've been right, and I think I'm going to continue being right. And especially seeing silver trading now around $24 and seeing gold trading around $1,500 and change, I just don't think that it's going to be trading at these levels for very long. Especially when you get a situation where the stock market in the U.S. is at an all-time high, the stock markets in Europe are doing well, the currencies are pretty strong based relative to the debt and things that have been going on around the world. And I really think that a lot of people, they've already started, but I think a lot more people are going to be putting their wealth into hard assets like gold and silver. Again, you're not relying on any particular financial market or economy. This is something that people all across the world identify with, have a demand for. And talking specifically about silver, that has incredible uses. It's actually the best conductor of electricity of any of the metals, even better than gold. Most people think gold is better. And so it's used in all the smartphones, the iPhones, the iPads, these tablets, computers, telephones. Basically it's used in so many aspects of industry nowadays that there's big demand for it. It's also has got some incredible products for being antibacterial. So they're using it for water and air filtration. So the market, if the economy is strong, there's huge uses and there's very little inventory. So I believe that the price will go a lot higher based on just uses and demand for it. And if, God forbid, the economy doesn't do well and people start, looking to have things to put their money in just to preserve the wealth, which is what people have been doing the last few years anyways, gold and silver have got enormous potential or use for preserving wealth. Yeah.
There's a bunch of questions I want to ask.
Okay.
So the value of the gold, you mentioned the stock market, the debt levels, the currencies. So you think gold will go up for a while yet? Yeah,
I certainly do. Again, nobody knows for sure. But basically, the stock market in the U.S. right now is at an all-time high. All you need to do, I travel to the U.S. quite often. I got friends and family there. I want nothing more than to see everybody in the world, including the U.S., do extremely well. However, when I go and travel to the U.S. or talk to my friends or even just read either on the internet or newspapers or other interactions I have with the U.S., there's no question that the U.S. economy is not doing as well as CNBC and CNN is saying that they are. You just got to go down to any major departments, shopping plaza in the U.S. And again, I've been recently, and you see what people are spending. You see the cars that people are driving. A lot of people have really, in the U.S., really dialed back on those things. The unemployment is unfortunately a little bit out of control in the U.S. And I just don't see that, a few years from now, that we're going to see the stock market continuing on these on the same course that it has been. So for that reason, I believe that people are going to be wanting to preserve their wealth, put it into something that's been around for thousands of years. And gold and silver are exactly that. And whether the economy does poorly or does well, good times or bad times, if you have bars of gold and silver, you'll be welcome anywhere with open arms. And like I say, it's the gold and silver has had value for thousands of years because it's rare, and people all around the world are identifying that. We're seeing countries like Cyprus, they're stealing people's money. People had money in the bank over $100,000. The government was taking 10% of that. If you had your money, if you have a large amount of money in the bank anywhere in the world, you're keying in on that story right now and thinking about how to protect your money. That's what we've been seeing happening. And one of the best ways is to be buying hard assets, something that has value. Gold and silver is portable. Not everybody knows about what you've bought. You can, dig a hole in your basement and hide it there if you want. I'm not suggesting that people do that, but it's small enough that you can put it away. It's got value. There's not very much of it. I recently read a statistic that of all the gold in the world, if it was all put together in one pile, and that includes, my wedding ring and most people, jewelry. Every bit of gold that's ever been mined since the existence of mankind, you would fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's how little that there is. And if you think about how important it is, even just for things like wedding rings and jewelry, not even talking about any other stores of wealth or other uses for these products, I'm sure you can see how that's not really a lot of product for the entire world. And most of the gold and silver, one argument that people say is, they can just go into the mines and take out more. Well, most of the gold and silver that's been mined for the last, few hundred years in the world is the easy gold and silver that's easy to get to. Most of the metal that's in the ground now is much more difficult. They got to go down, sometimes a kilometer or 2 or 3 kilometers down into the ground to actually get the metal. They've got to refine it, get all the machinery there. I mean, it's not like they can just turn a switch and they get the metal out of the ground. It's a very costly effort. And now when the prices are low compared to where they were a year ago, based on the market just recently had a pretty big sell-off, some mines have actually shut down because their cost of production is above the value of the gold or the silver that they're bringing out of the ground. So there really isn't a lot of gold and silver coming into the market. And so it's a finite supply, and there certainly is an increased demand. So that type of thing always results in higher prices, just following the basic economic rule of supply and demand. If there's less demand or more supply, prices are going to go up.
Speaking of that, people buying the physicals, I was reading recently that it's happening in many parts of the world. The U.S. coins, they've run out for a little while of a certain size. Yeah,
the mints, both the Canadian and the U.S. mint actually depleted their entire production. They shut down early. I think it was the U.S. mint shut down early last month after the 3rd week, so that they could catch up on everything. They stopped taking any orders. But there certainly is huge demand. Both the mints have been releasing record sales. And what we've been seeing happening is that the premiums that some of the companies are charging have just been increasing. And same thing, even you go to sell a bar or a coin, there's a good chance you're going to be receiving a premium that's probably a lot higher than it was a few months ago. We're getting some large premiums between the spot price and the price that you pay or receive for actual physical metal. And just touching on that is one of the signals that we've been talking about I've been talking about for a few years now, is that probably just before this market really takes off in a huge way, you're going to see a separation between the physical product and the actual or pardon me, the paper product and the actual physical product. The paper product, they could say, okay, if the price of gold goes up, the price of this stock or mutual fund is going to go up in value. But if there's no product behind it, that means somebody actually is just making a bet, and they got to take the money out of their pockets to pay off that increase. And there's been talk that if the price moves high enough, and this obviously follows logic, that the people that are making those bets may not even have enough money to settle those trades. And if we see silver, which again is trading $23, $24 today, if we see it trading at $50 where we saw it just a couple years ago, those financial institutions and individuals that have shorted it are going to have to put up big money to settle those trades. And there's some individuals, analysts have been calling for much higher prices, and I'm sure you could see how if a company writes an ETF, an exchange traded fund, and they're representing it that it moves with the price of silver, and silver moves from $25 an ounce up to say $70 or $100, how they might not have enough money to satisfy all the investors. And that's when we're going to see some real products or some real problems in this industry, where there'd be lawsuits launched against these people. And once again, if you have the physical product, if you bought it for $23 an ounce and now it's trading at $50 or $70 or $100 an ounce, when you go to sell it, you're going to receive that, and you know exactly what you have if you have the actual bars that you can touch and hold with your hands. So I really recommend that people get involved with the actual physical products they can touch and hold. And I wouldn't say put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is the key. But over the next few years, I certainly am expecting to see a continuation of the moves that we've seen earlier, and it go way beyond the prices that we saw just a couple years ago when we saw silver at $50 and gold at $1,900 and change.
Do you expect that there'll be two markets in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing that, where the premiums are so large. Some places in the world, they're charging a $10 premium for a bar of silver. So if silver's trading at $24, they actually have to pay $34 to actually buy it. So I'm sure how you see how that type of thing could cause the prices to go a lot higher, and it really is two different markets. And like I say, a lot of analysts, including ourselves, have been predicting that that's one of the signals we're going to see before this market really takes off in a big way, is see the emergence of two different markets. And the people that are just trading the futures markets and the paper markets, again, those products might not be around or might not react to you might have a period where everybody wants to there could be some large demand for silver, and if you had the physical product, the premium could be enormous. But if you have a paper product, there might be no premium or even a negative premium, or that could even go down in value. So we certainly are really witnessing this, and it really is exciting because we were talking about this. And even going back like 6 months ago, the premiums are completely different now than they were back then. And once again, I really see this as a signal that of which way the market is going to continue moving.
Now, I think you've already said this, but if that dual market, well, first of all, do you expect it to last for a long time?
Well, that's a good question. I really don't know. Yeah. We have seen that suppliers are running out of product. Sometimes they're not taking orders for a period of time, but then they're also catching up. So I think if we see this continue for any period of time, that the physical stockpiles are going to disappear. And if that happens, then we probably are going to see these two different markets, one the physical market and one the paper market, and see a big differential and continue. At the same time, if the price retraces back to levels that we were at even just a few months ago, trading around $30 an ounce, it's very possible that demand may have subsided. for the physical product, because at these prices, the demand is just, so many people realize the value in bars of gold and silver, and they really see it as on sale at basically 30% off what it was trading at a few weeks ago. If we see it return back to the level that it was a few weeks ago, and I'm not expecting necessarily it's going to in the next few days, but if we do see that, we probably are going to see the demand tail off a little bit, and then you will see where the prices are coming back together again, from the physical and the paper product. Even during those situations, I still will stress to my clients that I recommend that they deal in the actual physical product, that they can touch and hold with their hands, they can take delivery of it, so that if we do get back to the point where the market takes off, you might as well have the best thing that's going for you, which is the actual physical product. Yeah.
Okay, and the same with ETFs because of the delivery.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there are some financial products out there that are even buying the actual metal, but the reality is that most of them aren't, and even the ones that are, if you make an investment, add money to that fund, and they have to increase their purchase. It's not like every day they can just go into the market, or every hour they can just go into the market and get whatever they want. As a matter of fact, we've seen a number of fund managers have a lot of difficulty accumulating product and being more in cash than they would have liked to.
You use the word excitement to describe the market. If you want to just, you've elaborated on certain parts
sure.
of it, but why would somebody want to buy it now?
Well, basically, you are seeing it in the news. It's been front page news, the movements that we've been seeing. The expectation is that it's going to go a lot higher. Any investment that's, that has some movements can be exciting. I personally find that a lot of the things that I was talking about, even going back 14 years ago, are unfolding right now and happening right now. For instance, the big difference between the futures price and the actual physical product, the premiums are quite high now, in some places, even a lot higher than we've ever seen in the past. So, to see these things unfolding is really exciting. I think about it a lot of times when I'm going to sleep at night, and sometimes I have trouble sleeping because I'm so excited to see what's going to happen the next day. Or you hear about something happening in the news, and the market, you're wondering how the New York market is going to react to it. So it certainly is an exciting market, and not to mention, if you have a bar of gold or silver. And, I've done this before. I didn't bring any with me today, unfortunately. But if you, hand somebody a bar of gold and silver, you just watch their face lights up with excitement. And all of a sudden, undoubtedly for the next hour or two, they just want to talk about gold and silver. I mean, these are things that have been around for thousands of years. There's stories that people have shared with me of people, fighter pilots in the war where they got shot down in enemy territory. They were given a small, few grams of gold because obviously, American currency isn't very good in enemy territory. So they actually use gold. People have stories how gold and silver helped their family get out of countries, and immigration and different things like that. Not to mention, it is the metal of kings and queens. So it really is an exciting metal to touch and hold. Obviously, most other people's wives love gold and silver. So it really is something that gets people's blood flowing. And then if you see situations where, for instance, I was buying it at $250 and saw it trading close to $2,000 an ounce. Obviously, the amount of money that can be made there really gets people excited. And when you see countries like India, that it's so important, that are importing and purchasing large amounts, when you hear mints are running out of metal, when you hear that the U.S. government's stockpile of silver is completely exhausted, I mean, these are things that get me excited. And reading the news and talking to people, on our website, we've got an enormous amount of information. We've got a news section. We spend a lot of money on research reports that we put on our news section of our website to share people with what's going on. There's a blog section, and some of these reports, I mean, you read them, and it just myself, I can speak personally, just gets me excited. And I know from talking to many clients and people that it really gets other people excited. And it's not, you're not dealing with some piece of paper that represents ownership in some some financial company that could be very boring. This is something you can actually touch and hold with your hands. Most people can relate to it, especially when they want to preserve their wealth. Nowadays, when you've got countries that are basically, they have currencies out there, they're not balancing their budgets, they're printing huge amounts of money, there's nothing backing these currencies, and we've seen, currencies all around the world fail, that it really is exciting to be talking about something that is a store of wealth, that looks like it's going higher, and that, like I say, just seems to get people's blood flowing. It certainly gets mine flowing, and I certainly have a passion for this product. I really enjoy dealing with this market, helping people to get involved in this market, and ultimately, hopefully, make a lot of money for both for myself and my company, and ultimately for the clients.
So, I'll get into the economic state, but the question I have is, what about inflation and gold? What's your view on that?
Well, basically, if you see inflation, then the price of everything goes up in value, including gold and silver. So if you see gold and if we have rampant inflation, which most economic analysts have been predicting, then owners of gold and silver will benefit. If we see other things going up in price, cost of goods, the amount of money that it costs to put food on your table, pay pay mortgage or rent, cost of real estate, electricity, gasoline in your car. If all these things are going up in price, and the economy is not keeping up with it, then you're going to see people losing their jobs. They can't afford to pay for different things, and when you see a situation like that, where the economy ultimately will suffer, then people will want to be preserving their wealth with gold and silver. So in either scenario, either you get inflation with a healthy economy, or you get inflation with a not healthy economy. Either scenario, I think, will result in higher prices in gold and silver. And once again, I'm not saying take your mortgage money you need to feed your family or pay your mortgage and buy gold and silver, but I'm saying diversify. A good rule of thumb is 10 to 30% of your net worth in the precious metals market. Makes a lot of sense. And once again, I really think that the things we're seeing happen in the world, and we certainly are witnessing history, I really get the feeling almost every day when I look at the news that's going on, some of the situations that we're seeing happen, 10 years ago, some of the situations I was talking about, even the Canadian and the US dollar being on par. 10 years ago, if you had said that to most Canadians, they'd think that you're crazy, because we were paying $1.60 to buy a US dollar. Now they're on par. So the world is really changing, and most of the things that are happening in the world actually are very beneficial to the price of gold and silver. And one of the biggest things is the U.S. economy, this quantitative easing, which is printing of money. They've been printing huge, enormous amounts of money, more money than they ever had in the history of the world. And obviously, if this currency is not backed by anything, the more of anything they have, the less value that it's going to be. So a lot of people that have millions of dollars or a lot of money in the U.S. are thinking, how do I protect your money? And I can't think of any better way than physical gold and silver.
Now, what about the economic numbers? So like inflation, for example, everything is going up. The numbers don't say that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the U.S. government seems to have a way of delivering their information to what suits them best. And, this is mainstream now that people are questioning the stuff coming out of the U.S. government. Again, a few years ago, if you had said If you'd questioned any of the numbers that they were releasing, people would say, you're crazy. This is the U.S. government. How could they trick us? But meanwhile, just last week, there was a major article in Rolling Stone magazine talking about how all these markets are rigged. And they show things like the LIBOR interest rate. There's lawsuits going on right now where these banks were manipulating the interest rate on these LIBOR loans. Why were they doing it? Because individual traders, actual floor traders, had individual bets for their own personal gain. Did they want this? And sometimes traders, people that set these rates, were adjusting the rates for something as simple as, I'll buy you lunch tomorrow, or a bottle. There's a famous reference to one trader offered to buy another a bottle of booze if he would adjust the rates. And so unfortunately, everything has to be taken with a grain of salt nowadays. And I find if you just look at what's going on, you walk into a shopping plaza, even in Canada, but more so in the States, get an indication as to what people are spending money on. Are they buying high-end, high-ticket items? Are they walking around in a relaxed state like they have a lot of money in the bank? Or are they conserving money and not spending as much? Talk to the retailers. I do this on a regular basis, and there's no question that the feeling I'm getting is that the U.S. economy is retracting and that people are very scared down there. Again, I think that leads to people wanting to have gold and silver, and I think that's going to result in much higher prices. And because we recently saw the prices actually retrace, partly due to some sell-offs that occurred, some stop losses that occurred, and even partly due to some of the manipulation that's been going on, buying at these prices, I really think anybody that buys these prices has a good chance to make a lot of money in this market with something that they can hold long-term and feel safe that they can hold for a long time, that it's an asset that's never going to go to zero. So like I say, that's why we're in the physical market, and there is a lot of really funny things going on around the world. And I really get the feeling, and again, this causes me to lose sleep at night, I really get the feeling that we're witnessing history, and the world is really changing from what we've seen before. And I tend to enjoy studying history, and history always repeats itself, especially in mankind. And if you don't learn from history, you're not gonna learn anything. And a lot of the things that we're seeing happen, these things follow cycles, and it really makes sense that we've seen every currency in the world fail at some point. It makes sense that that's going to happen again. And at the end of the day, the things that really hold value are the things that there's limited amounts of. Gold and silver one. The energy products is another area that I like a lot. But those areas I think are going to do extremely well. And if you've diversified and you still have some stock market and some real estate and some bonds and some cash, as well as your precious metals, no matter what happens, you'll do well. If we see the economy go up, you'll do well overall. If you see it go down, you'll do well overall, because you have your things like gold and silver that should do extremely well. So that's what I recommend, is that people really protect themselves, have all the different areas covered, and gold and silver is one of the most exciting things, and probably, in my opinion, one of the safest things that you can have in your portfolio.
Okay. What about mining stocks?
Mining stocks, I think I think that there's some great potential. They're very undervalued now. I have a lot of friends that work in the mining industry and follow the mining. Most of the mining stocks now are trading at less than 1% of the value of what they have in the ground. But basically, you've got so many risks. Nowadays, it's so difficult to set up a mine. You need to build schools, hospitals. You got to worry about the environmental concerns, the government you're dealing with, the management of the company, the accounting, the funding. You got to have a good product, a good property to start with. The actual underlying commodity, the gold or the silver or whatever you happen to be mining, has to go up in value. All these things have to do well in order for you to do well with the actual individual mining stock. if you own the actual bars of gold and silver, all that has to happen is the price of gold and silver go up. So there's less variables, there's less. It's just a much simpler thing, and once again, in my opinion, much safer type of investment and safer thing to hold on to. And that's why at Canadian Bullion Services, we are encouraging people to take delivery of their physical products, and that's why we specialize in the physical precious metals. The last thing I want to add to that is the last 10 years when we've seen gold and silver move from $250 to almost $2,000, the mining stocks haven't done anything. So we've seen the price, move up by eightfold or something like that, and the actual stocks really haven't done anything. They haven't moved yet. So if we see the price double again, what's to make me think that the price of the mining stocks are going to go up? So again, that's why we recommend the actual physical product. You can sell it with a phone call. You're not relying on the stock market at all. You're not relying on any of the other factors I talked about. All you're relying on is that the price of the gold or the silver is going to go up in value.
So speaking of that, does it matter where you get the gold, which mint it comes from?
Well, as long as it's London Bullion, when London Bullion delivery approved, then you can sell it at almost any refinery, any bullion dealer, any of the basically almost anybody that's trading in these markets will buy the London Good Delivery bars from you. So that's what you want to make sure. And you want to make sure you're dealing with a reputable company. There have been some counterfeit bars in circulation recently, and that's another thing that shows you that the economy is doing poorly. When people are in difficult situations, that's when they tend to do creative things like take an actual bar, hollow it out, fill it with tungsten, and then refill it again, which is a very difficult process. Basically, we've seen those type of things recently. So all the bars that we sell come from an approved refiner. They are all London Good Delivery products, and we guarantee them. And we'll buy back any bars from any clients that purchase anything from us. We will buy back from them. And one thing I want to emphasize is that we really emphasize service at Canadian Bullion Services. So if anybody calls up, they want to speak to somebody, they have some different ideas, they want some assistance in making a purchase. Again, it's not rocket science, we're just buying physical product, but we'll assist the clients. We encourage them to call us. We have a weekly newsletter that we email to our clients, as well as I mentioned, we've got a lot of news and blogs and information available on our website. We even have videos that people can learn on. And but we really, like I say, emphasize service, and we really are helping some of the smaller guys get involved in these markets, so that they can do well as well as everybody else.
Okay, just to finish off, if someone wants to get in contact with you, how would they do it?
Yeah, best thing is to go to our website. It's the company is Canadian Bullion Services, and the website is cbmetals, metals.com. And from there, you can there's email contacts. There's obviously we have telephone numbers that are listed on there, a toll-free number, or if they even would not like to speak to somebody, they can place orders just through the website. So all the information, there's a wealth of information. We're constantly updating it. We've got an extensive IT department that's developing this website, and it's really exciting. Even just some of the images that are on there, the stories that are coming out, even the feedback and testimonials that clients are submitting to us. But once again, the website is probably the best place to contact us. Our office is located right at the corner of Yonge and Eglinton at 2300 Yonge Street. Even if you'd like to make an appointment, you can give us a call. We'll sit down with you, spend some time with the clients. But the website is the best place to see the different areas that they can contact us. And we also have live pricing. We've got charts available on there. We spend a lot of money for the information that's on the website, and we just share that with our clients. So the website is www.cbmetals.com. And like I say, how the clients choose to contact us is up to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more question.
Sure, no trouble.
Do you ship gold anywhere in Canada?
Yeah, we'll ship it anywhere in Canada. We also have clients all over the world, so most places we can even ship it to. Obviously, right now we'll ship to anywhere in Canada for any orders over $5,000. We ship for free. We cover the insurance and the shipping on that. And once again, it's not going to be a Brinks truck to look, pulling up to your door. It's very inconspicuous. A lot of people don't want their neighbors to know their own business, and that's one thing that I encourage our client, or I encourage our staff to share with the clients is try and keep it a secret if you have precious metals in your house. Nowadays, like I say, when we're in some desperate times, unfortunately, there's some desperate people out there. So your best to keep that information close to your chest. The flip side to that is that people get excited about it and want to talk about it to their friends, and they want to tell them what they bought. So what I suggest is if you do want to tell your friends, tell them that you bought like 1 ounce of silver and 1 ounce of gold, and leave it at that. And but like I say, it really is an exciting topic of conversation, and I certainly have a lot of fun with it. And as I mentioned a couple times in this conversation, I really love my work. I love coming into the office or even just looking at the market in the middle of the night or reading the stories that are coming out. And it really is interesting. From 14 years ago, where very few people were talking about gold and silver, now it's on a regular basis, front and center, front page news. And a lot of people are saying that it's going to be the investment of the decade, and I certainly believe that.
Okay, well, thanks for coming out. And,
thank you for having me, Joe. I've enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, me too. So that's our show for today, the Cube Talk Show. This will be posted on YouTube and on my website, www.joetheinvestor.ca. And to get in contact with me, you can use my website under the Contact Us page. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.